we write for an hour and then we come back on and discuss, not like whatever a topic is. Nobody reads their, nobody reads their writing, but I find it motivating, like, that it's, you have this time to sit and write. And now it's been somebody, I don't know, I do poetry, but I'm working on a memoir as well. And like, so I found it inspirational because somebody who's in our group all of a sudden like finished her work, and I go, what am I doing? Like, I've been here at the same time she has, and I'm like,
Right.
I'm dilly-dallying.
Right.
So like, she's inspired me to move forward.
Yeah. I feel every week, I'd say just about 99% of the time, whatever I work on my group, we meet on Sundays. I will work on it for the next week or two, and I end up with a completed piece that I put them up on Medium. So
oh, do you? Yeah, yep. Like a short story, or
they're just memoir essays. They're about 750 words, and
really,
and they're all up on Medium, and that's what I do every week. It's like I started my group, and then I work it, and then I send it around to them later in the week. I don't just, I have readers, but then I post it.
And what kind of response do you get off the Medium?
Well, the Medium is funny because I guess it's national, I guess it's international. I don't know, Tara, maybe but I have, there's some people who follow me. They have something called, and I say this jokingly because for me, it's silly. They have something called the Writing Partner Program. So depending on how many clicks you get and how long the views are, and this is language that's 40 years, older than, I don't get it. I don't understand the whole concept. I'm still in Fred Flintstone land, but apparently, according to how many clicks and this, you can make money. So, I joke, I just made my biggest windfall. I think I just made $1.72.
Are you serious?
Yes. And you give, and at first I was really like, they're like, you have to give us your checking account number. And I was really not sure. And then I did. And sure enough, in my bank account, there's a deposit for $1.72. Because what happens is that, the pieces live there forever. So you don't know, people, who are browsing, who click on, who want to read. 2 weeks ago, I got a note from another Medium publication called Modern Parent. They saw my stuff. Now they are running my stuff separately.
Really?
So, yeah, because I write a lot about my kids. So,
all right, that's
so I'm up, but it all starts in writers group. So I always have this goal. My goal, personal, is to have a piece I feel like I can put up. So,
and it's called Medium. What is it, like a blog?
Medium.com. And I think you have to pay something, to access it. I don't think a lot, but I think you have to pay.
Somebody told me about that too, with as a place to post. As a matter of fact, in the writing group, they said medium.com.
It's very satisfying. I find it really satisfying because you can control it. It's just instant gratification for your ego. So.
Now, I didn't meet you, Karen, last time. Are you an author or writer?
One of our upcoming author. She actually won our publishing contest. Was it 2018? I guess the end of 2018. So yeah, so her book is coming out. I don't know the exact date, but it's forthcoming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So Christine.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what kind of writing do you do?
I do all different kinds. But I don't do like sci-fi or fantasy or anything like that. It's all grounded pretty intently in reality. And the book I wrote, it won't be out till 2022, which feels like forever. It really does. It feels like it'll never happen. Like you'll go bankrupt before it happens or something.
Let's hope not.
No, I know. But like, it's hard to feel like that'll ever happen for you, my kind of thinking. So yeah, so it's basically about a family that two parents that go bankrupt, and they need their son and his wife to sort of bail them out. And it's about this family living together in those circumstances. And a few things happen within the family, and they have to kind of come together, even though they drive each other crazy. And it has different narrators, 5 different narrators from the family in first person. So it was a lot to handle. I was so glad that Tara liked it. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, I just wrote a novel. It's considered, I suppose, more young adult, though I didn't think of it that way, but I started sending it to agents. And one of the rejections said that it sounded like young adult to her, and she doesn't do young adult. And so I've been reading more young adult literature also, because teenagers are the protagonists, but in places the narrative shifts to their mothers. So I don't fully think of it as young adult, but yeah, so I've been trying to get that novel out there also. And I write short stories and publish short stories. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So what are the titles of the novels?
The one with the bankrupt parents is 54 Holly Lane. The other one I'm shopping around, which I don't think an agent will ever look at it. I sent it, I'm not joking, 90 agents I sent it out to.
Wow.
90.
Yeah, but you make it sound like that's a big number. That's not a big number.
That's not a big number?
I could do 300 at a crack. Absolutely. No.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not a
300?
big number.
I don't think there's-
Absolutely.
I did it through Duotrope, because Duotrope, like, it's that big warehouse, and
Yeah.
they didn't have 300. Well, no, they did, but it wasn't in my like criteria.
Here,
like,
let me look right now. As I'm talking to you here, hold on.
you have an agent, Everett? I know you said you were looking at one point. Okay.
But and I don't know what Duotrope is. I just go through and list them. I'm just looking at what on this last project I sent out.
Okay.
Okay, so I am looking at this sheet, which has 115.
115. 90
So that's
felt
just
like a lot.
that's just on that. Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, so don't feel bad. I mean, agents. And you know what's funny is my
What?
theory is you can be a decent human being if you're a female agent. If you are a male agent, you are an SOB. You have
Really?
to be. I've never met or talked to or corresponded with a male literary agent that wasn't a total jerk.
Wow.
Ego driven. Now you can be, but usually with women, it's usually the assistants that are nice. Once you get up there a little bit, then you take on the jerk clothing as well.
Christine,
you
I
disagree
tried
with that?
72 agents. I think I was at like 72, 75,
Yeah,
something
I
like
could
that.
burn through
Yeah.
100 agents like that. No
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still want one, Everett?
Don't know. I think they have the place to get. I think they have the keys to the city. It used to be where agents took on more than they thought they could sell. And that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Now they're taking on, if they don't believe they can sell it and sell it quickly,
Yeah.
they're really going to pass.
Yeah. And one of the websites actually said, and I loved the honesty of this agent. She said, I feel passionate about a lot of projects that I turn down because I can't sell them.
Right.
And I thought that was really honest,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
yeah, I suspect I'll get
Well,
a lot.
my favorite one on a film project I was working on, one of my favorite rejections said, I stopped reading at page 3. This all gets better. I stopped reading at page 3. Don't contact me again until you develop into something worth reading.
Oh God.
I couldn't stand your narrow. Oh, it went on. It went
my
on.
God, I'm
Oh my goodness.
I'm surprised they dedicated that much
Hey,
time.
guess what? That was a male literary agent.
What do you know?
That's
I'm
what do you
surprised
know.
he gave so much time to it. Mostly they're just like, nope, passing on this one. Nope.
Well,
passing.
usually they hide and say, it's not right for my list.
Yes.
You know, it's yeah, no, this guy enjoyed it. You could tell he was enjoying making me cry. Yeah.
Wow. Jim, you just walked in, Jim. We're talking about agents. I said I had sent my most recent novel to 90 agents, and Everett said that was just, piss in the wind. He sent up to like 300 agents. And the males are all SOBs, just so you know, Jim. That's the summary.
Catch you up.
Catch you up.
How many
Yeah.
did you say you send it to, Christine?
90.
90 agents.
Yeah. I've had probably 20 rejections so far, but most of them, I think a good amount aren't just going to say anything.
No,
You know, just nothing.
if you got 20 out of 90, you're probably capped out. You're probably not
Yeah.
going to hear much more from.
Yeah.
Most of them they won't respond.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did anybody read it or offer to read it?
No such luck.
Just, what did you send along, like the first 10 pages or something like that?
It depends. They'll ask between 5 pages, they ask up to 50. A lot of them ask for that amount. So yeah, I need a better beginning apparently. But I'm really praying, like I'm putting all my prayers. My favorite literary magazine is called Carve. Have any of you heard of it?
Mm-mm.
It's inspired by Raymond Carver.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how I discovered it, but I did. And it's my favorite. They have extensive author interviews at the end. And I was published there, I won't even call it published. They do a feature called Decline and Accept. They declined one of my stories and another magazine accepted it. So I sent that to them and they published it. This is actually the short story my novel is based on. So I was in their magazine, but I really don't care because like it wasn't a real story, you know? But I've sent them, I think 13 stories in a decade. And they always reject them. And a lot of times they give me feedback, which I think is so generous of them. But my recent story is on the editor's desk. So I am like putting all my prayers into that story. I'm just hoping. And if not, I'll have a huge cry and just start again.
Yeah.
What do you do, right? Oh. But
So, Everett, what happened with you? I'm sorry. How many did you send yours to, or which story?
Oh, I could send up. Yeah, well, I was just saying that not to feel bad over 90. I mean, 90. Are you kidding? I can get guns blazing 90 done in the afternoon. I've been rejected by the best agents out there. Absolutely.
yeah, amazing.
Brutal.
Now, how did you meet Tara, Everett? Was it at a conference?
No, she posted
Oh,
something.
no.
We started talking early on. Go ahead.
It was Craigslist.
Which she
Oh,
hates, by the way.
Which I hate now. But back then, this was like 2012. It wasn't like Murder and Sex Central back then. It actually had some legitimate, writing. You could put out a call for submissions and not get murderers and rapists. So that's how. Yes, that's how. Everett. Since I found Everett, though, I've never had a successful Craigslist posting, so I don't do it anymore. So. But yes, that's how. That was what I think 2012.
It was a while ago.
2012.
And then it took us 3 years to get the book done.
And this was, is this when you opened Blydyn Square, 2012?
Yes. Well, that was when I was still trying to find enough books to start. Because I don't know if it's still true, but back then you needed 3 books by 3 different people to launch, to be considered a small press. And at that point I think I had 1 or 2 books, and then I found Everett's book. Then of course another author dropped out. It was just chaos. I mean, but I came up with the idea to start Blydyn Square in 2005. It took me until 2015 to get 3 books and get them ready. So yeah, it's a 10-year process.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, now I tell Everett not to go on Craigslist anymore, because everybody you have found since me has been completely nuts.
Not true. Quinn is a great guy.
Well, we don't know that for sure yet. I'm holding out judgment.
So
We don't
you're
know
going to
what-
assume he's a rapist and a murderer until he
Yeah,
proves
I think
himself.
we
possibly.
can be safely assume that. But look at everybody else. I mean, they've all been crazy. There was the drunk lady. There was Jesse. There was some chaos going on.
But there were
Sounds
some
like a
good ones.
story waiting to happen right there.
That's what you should write a book about: Craigslist disasters.
Or successes.
Yeah.
That would be a short book.
Yeah, right?
So what's going on with everybody?
Nothing really, just work. More kids going out on remote. So I talk to a screen more and more each day, have fewer and fewer students in the desks in front of me. So that's interesting.
What grade do you teach?
11th. I
Powerful.
know.
Oh, wow.
English. in Hunterdon County, New Jersey. So
Public
yeah, I
school.
love it.
Public school.
Public school. Oh yeah, public school. Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. But this is just crazy. And they don't put their camera on like this. So I'm talking to like, just like little icons or just a letter. That's
Mm.
it.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
I hope you know, you could write about that.
I think so.
You know, if you ever want to just do nonfiction, you could really do something on that.
Yeah. On what it's like to teach like that, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and also just sort of how it's, you know, why you went into teaching to really connect with people. And that's the idea of connection has changed a lot, right?
Yeah.
Would be a good piece, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, you write, do you write all nonfiction, Andrea?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And I've never written, I did write a creative nonfiction piece. I did that and that got published. But I didn't, yeah, other than that, I haven't. It's hard to write about family because this book I'm writing there's pieces of it that are accurate. And once that book comes out, there's pieces of this novel that I'm getting published that are actually accurate to my in-laws who live with me. And I'm not letting them read the book. There's no way. I have to hide it from them. They don't know it's getting published. Nothing. They don't even know there is a book, actually. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard to write about your loved ones, I think.
Yeah. Well, if I write about my kids, I always run it past them first.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Always.
I didn't do that.
Yeah, always.
They ever say no, they don't want you to write something? Or publish?
No, because I know what not to write about.
Mm.
I know what not to write about. So yeah, I mean, there's stuff I won't touch.
Yeah.
So I try to write about stuff that other parents can relate to. Like my son is moving to San Francisco on Saturday, and I just had a good cry and wrote a piece about that. So I know there'll be parents who can relate to seeing their kid move across the country or something.
Yeah.
You know, and wanting to be supportive, but having your heart break at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And where do you live?
I live in Sleepy Hollow, which is really North Terry. I like North Tarrytown better. It's more proletariat. But
How can you not like Sleepy Hollow?
Yeah, really.
Well, they call, you know, because Washington Irving lived here and he wrote the legend here, and there's all, you know, all the people that on whom the characters are based are buried in the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. And there's, you know, the mascot is the Headless Horseman and everything. It's like the Horseman Diner and the Horseman Cleaners and the Van Tassel Apartments. And it's a zoo at Halloween time. Yeah. But it's about 25 minutes north of Manhattan. So I'm just across the river from like Nyack, New York, not too, you know, right by I see the Tappan Zee Bridge from my window. So, and you guys are you all in where, New Jersey?
I am.
I'm in New Jersey. Laura, you're in New Jersey. Jim's
Yeah,
in Pennsylvania.
I'm in New
Karen
Jersey.
is in North Dakota.
Yeah, North Dakota.
Oh, wow.
You're in Delaware.
And wait, where's Jim?
Pennsylvania, right?
Oh,
That's right, yep.
Pennsylvania. Okay. Yeah, because when we had the book launch, that was in Pennsylvania
Yeah.
for Coralie. Yeah, that was like
That
an
wasn't far from me. Yeah, that wasn't far from me.
That wasn't, yeah, no, it was like an hour and a half for me. But yeah.
Oh, it
I'm
was an
in-
in-person thing. Wow.
Yes.
What
year.
a concept.
Yes. What a concept. 2019.
Yeah, really.
It was 2019. I found it on my Facebook page. I was like, wow, what an alternate universe this is.
It'll happen again.
Crazy. It was crazy.
Really rough to try to launch a book in this environment when you can't do any of the things
Yeah.
you would normally do. And like even like we did your virtual launch, and yeah, we got a ton of people who came, but nobody bought a book. You know, if they're not there eating your free food, they don't have any sort of moral obligation to buy a book, you know?
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. And then you're
Very
there,
hard.
you're like sitting there physically there. So
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think they feel guilty to, grab their free food and everything and walk right past the author who's sitting there with the stack of books. They feel like, I gotta spend the
Right.
$15 or whatever it is,
Right.
But yeah,
right.
online there's no obligation. They can just say, "Oh, well done," and just sneak away. So,
Mm.
and I think people don't realize, because we're so small, like we'll have people tell the authors, "Oh, I bought your book. Yeah, I loved your book." And we know they didn't buy it because all the authors come in. I see them. I know who bought a book and who didn't. So
Yeah.
it's just, I mean, maybe if they bought a Kindle, okay, then I don't know. But there are times when they'll say, "Oh, I bought it 3 days ago and we didn't get a Kindle order for a month." And, so I know they're lying, but, like they mean well. They mean well.
Yeah.
But I
That's
think,
it,
I think
though.
they think we're, Random House, and we have no idea, how many books are, they think someone in some warehouse somewhere is handling that. And no, we know who's ordering a book.
Wow. And so, Everett, last meeting, Tara was saying you did a lot to promote your book. What do you do to promote your work?
I don't know that I actively promote it. I think I find things to do that it's involved in. So I don't do like book signings and stuff, but we'll do book signings at an event. Like when
Okay.
the Invention of Everything came out, my son and I actually created a documentary. We interviewed a bunch of people in Binghamton, artists, and we put together a documentary about the city of Binghamton. And some of the book signing stuff was part of the B-roll that we used for that. And we interviewed, I don't know, 10 or 11 people. And then the folks at the Bundy Museum Theater, actually we released it. And so we had a book signing there. So I don't know that I'm not a big fan of sitting at a table and trying to get things, but I love doing some other thing and then signing books while you're there. Like we
Got
had
it.
an event in Dover, we did an authors and audience event where I spoke and Tara did it like a round table. And so I signed books there, and I like doing that. I don't like with a card table, just going off, and there's not really a lot of bang for the buck. But if you create an event or go to an event where the book is part of it, it seems to be pretty successful. And in Binghamton, we have a big following. So there's restaurants that, that had us in, and they wouldn't let us pay for anything. And we did, the Bundy Museum Theater, we used that for free. They did the whole thing there. And we had, a bunch of people that were involved in the media, and so that was a pretty neat thing that was just embedded in these other events. That was a lot of fun.
Mm.
We actually did a 33 Cecil's walking tour. We haven't used it yet because the Belmar is in 33 Cecil's, and Mather Street apartment, which is across the street. So we had a film crew there, and we actually did a walking tour of the places that's actually in the novel. It's kind of neat.
Where does it take place?
It's in
Binghamton, New York.
Yeah.
Oh, in Binghamton. Okay.
Yeah. But remember how embarrassing that was? They kept making us walk the same thing by that
The
gas
same
station
thing.
over
Okay, now walk over again. Okay, now walk over again.
Actor, and it's like they keep making you go back and do it again. It was so embarrassing.
So I'd be
and
pointing.
awkward.
Yeah, and you'd have to try to be really interested because it's the 9th time I pointed. Right.
Yeah, and Everett's like, and here's the apartment where, Dutch would have lived, and I'm like, and it's like hard to like keep it fresh after you've done it 9 times, But yeah, because we're definitely, well, you're an actor, I'm not. I was having trouble. But, yeah. In fact, though, Christine, to go back to your point about what we do to promote stuff, Everett and I were talking about this last weekend. Was it last weekend or last week? We're going to come up with a whole author handbook kind of thing, going through all the different things we've tried, the things that have worked, the things that didn't work. So this is a work in progress. So we're hoping to get this done. I'm going to try to work over my Christmas. I have 2 weeks off at Christmas, so I'm hoping to get it pulled together.
Yeah, because like I really work very hard on what I want. I really do. I just go after it. But like when it comes to promoting my work, which is promoting myself,
Right.
very hard thing for me. And I don't always know the right way to go about it. So that's part of what it is. And I went on Instagram and I hated it. It was just awful. Like there's all these pictures and then videos of people with flicking their hair. And it was just like ridiculous. It just seemed so vain to me.
Yes.
So there's
It's so just
to learn.
pointless. I mean, it's we're about books and we're about words, and it's all about really dull pictures. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah, I hate it too. But I mean, we post occasionally on there just to show that we recognize it as a thing. But yeah, I hate it now.
Right.
But
I hate
yeah,
it. I like
think
Facebook. Okay.
Facebook, yeah, I mean, I feel like they've made so many changes lately that it's like impossible to navigate anymore. It's just like they won't ever show me. I have to click most recent like 95 times before it'll actually show me most recent. And of course, the most recent is always 15 ads in a row. But you know, yeah.
Christine,
But-
I posted excerpts from my book.
On Medium?
No, on Facebook, on my in my Facebook. I did it. I think I did it before it actually came out, just sort of as teasers. So that I was posting excerpts and then saying, you know, soon to be published, or, you know, due in. I did that for a while, and I've and every now and then, like we just did something this week. I recorded a video of myself reading, because there's a Hanukkah Christmas section in the beginning of my book, and tonight's the first night of Hanukkah, and so I did a reading from the book and posted it and put it up, and just to sort of stay in people's minds as much as I can. Did readings at the library. I mean, you should, you know, contact your local library, and I'm forgetting what I wanted to say. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, and I did some podcasts. Very small. Very small. You know, like no one's ever heard of them. But once they're done, then you can post the link, and you say, here, so and so interviewed me, and then so it, you know, you create these little flurries of interest for a little while, and you know, yeah.
That's great.
But I hate
That's-
self-promotion. I'm terrible
Right,
at
that's
it.
the thing.
Yeah,
I think
Most
most
writers
writers
are.
feel that
It's
way. You
horrible.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a website that I pay for that I have, it's through GoDaddy, and I have it on my Facebook page, but you have to get someone there. I like the idea that you did little like readings or little clips right on Facebook. I really like that.
Yeah.
Whenever I publish a story, I'll put it on there. Like thank you, you know, this magazine for publishing my story. And then I get like, you know.
Right. I did that. I thanked the library. A couple libraries bought a copy of the book. I thanked them. Some bookstores agreed to carry it. I thanked them. I let people know, you know, it's at these bookstores. Anything you can do to just sort of reach out and say hi and tie into it. You know, say, for example, there's a theme. If there's a theme about, you said, so it's a family that's becoming impoverished, right? So somehow, I mean, I'm a journalist, so, you know, I'm always looking for the news hook. But, you know, if you can maybe like look at what we're going through this country now, people are losing jobs and work, and, you know, I don't know, maybe you can sort of say, you know, it's on everybody's mind, and you can tie it into that or something, you know what I mean? Like find out what's happening in the world and tie it in, because those are really pressing themes.
Yeah, it's true. Thank you.
So what else is going on? Jim, your book is with beta readers.
Oh, nice.
I think 5 people took it. So that's a pretty good.
That's good.
We usually we tried to get at least 2 and no more than 10. So 5 is a pretty good number.
Is that typical, Tara, for the books?
Well, I mean, we've only been doing it, let's see. I think Andrea's book was the first one we did beta readers for. So yeah, I'd say like 4 or 5 is about typical. We did them for Christine's. We haven't done them for Karen's yet.
Mhm.
We did them for Richards. I wonder where he is. He said he was gonna, he emailed me this morning and said he'd be here. But yeah,
That's very neat, Tara.
huh?
That's very neat.
Yeah, so
Very
we'll see,
neat.
but it's nice. I mean, I had never even really heard of such a thing. I found it was at Push to Publish, Christine, that it might have been the year before I met you, that I was on a panel and one of the people from another small press was talking about how they did it. And I was like, it's worth a try, it couldn't hurt. So it took this long to actually get to books that, were that close, because you want it to be, they're almost done, but still room for revision if need be. So, so I feel like we got some valuable input. Like, I feel like Andrea's book, people didn't have a lot to say about, which, I mean, the people we sent it to all liked it, so they didn't really do a whole lot. But with whose book? Christine, they had some stuff. They had some suggestions on yours, and I think on Richard's, in fact, he changed a whole chapter because of what the beta reader said. So,
Yeah. I
'cause,
took out a whole character. So
right, exactly. So that's the thing. It's like, I feel like it's, if one person says I didn't like this, that's one thing. But if 4 people say the exact same thing, there might be an issue. So, and all the beta readers said the same thing about this one part of Richard's book. And so, I mean, it was an easy fix. So, but it just, it is nice to kind of get a little bit of feedback before you send it out there. Because clearly, I mean, I like the books, but clearly I don't necessarily know what other people like, because it's not like they're exactly flying off the shelves, So, I feel like we're getting there little by little.
I was going to ask everybody, what do you think about, like, for other pieces that we're working on, just using like the authors, if you guys would be interested in looking at like a new short story or whatever, taking a quick look and giving some initial thoughts. Is that something people would be interested in? Because I'm looking for people like that.
Oh, you mean like a writer's group sort of?
Yeah, sort of like a writer's group to say, hey, I'm working on this. What do you think? Just take a quick look, let me know. Or you, Christine, whatever, with a new story, Andrea.
I do that for friends all the time. I have friends who are not in my writers group, but who are writers. And I have a network of friends and we send each other stuff out. And I'm always happy to look at somebody's stuff. It's fun. I enjoy it. So
yeah, I do too.
invite, and I like knowing I could send my stuff to somebody. So yeah.
I wonder if there would be any value in creating like an official Blydyn Square Books, writers group that would be open to the public, where people could send their work in to be critiqued by whoever happens to be available and interested. I don't know. I mean, it's just something that I've never heard of being done before. Yeah. But it's something I could set up a group on Facebook and put out a note and see if anybody, see if there's any takers. It doesn't cost me anything.
With the world that I'm in, which is PR and social media, that's what I do in my day job. That any way that you can build engagement with the community is great, is gold. So, I think that makes sense.
Well, I do. I took a Too Expensive workshop with Tom Jenks, who's like a famous editor, and I had never heard of him, but he's in charge of Narrative Magazine. So after I did this Too Expensive workshop that was disappointing to me, he picked a lot of us to be editors. So I read for his magazine. So it's actually pretty educational, but it means I don't have a lot of time to do other stuff either.
Why were you disappointed in his workshop?
I found him, quite honestly, and I don't like to badmouth anybody. First of all, it wasn't in person. It was supposed to be in person, but because of the pandemic, that ruined it. It was supposed to be in New York City with 12 of us. And he is a brilliant man. And the piece I actually wrote to get into the workshop, he published in his magazine. So he clearly was, that I thought that I had some talent and belonged there, but he was very snobby at times, incredibly so. At one point, I kind of lost it a little bit. I started crying. I had to leave the screen and come back because he was really going at me about something. And I think that Zoom makes it easy to be that way. I think now in person, maybe he's like that too, but he's really bright. So if somebody asked me, should I do it? I'm not going to say yay or nay, but I know for me, it wasn't as good as I had hoped it would be. And it was pretty strenuous because there's 12 participants. We each get a story up to 20 pages and you critique everybody's story. And then there's another story that he reads on his own and critiques for you, and you get an hour-long conversation with him. So it was like a grad class, basically. It was $2,900. It was a grad class, basically. So, and I think I put a lot of expectations on it because a lot of the class was basically about him teaching us how to close read, like really close read the text. And he went through and the text that he had picked for us to read. And so that was valuable. And we talked about our writing, but not as much as I would have liked to have done. So, but he was rough. He was like, when you talked about the agents being the male agents being SOBs, because this guy, I mean, he's worked with Alice Munro. He's worked with Raymond. He was friends with Raymond Carver. They did an anthology together. So like his name is big in the field, you know, and he knows it's big in the field. So I don't know. I kick myself for doing it. But at the same time, and also it was pre-pandemic. Things were better for me financially pre-pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So I figured this was a chance of a lifetime to do it, you know? So what do you do, right? You just have to kind of take what you can and move on. So, yeah.
It's hard. I mean, I think one of the hard things about being a writer is that line between, you know, feeling like you're being true to your own voice and you're being true to yourself and what commercializing your work requires you to do, you know. And I think and I think that's a struggle we all face, which is, you know, we always have something to learn. You know, I for one usually assume everyone's right and that I'm wrong, you know, but there are, you know, or you want to be published so much that you're willing to change something even though you don't really want to, because you want the credit, you want the line on your CV. But I think it's really, say what?
Or you self-publish because it's fast and you can push the button.
Yeah, I did that too, but I didn't have many sales that way. I have a book of short stories out. I published in 2011. So, so I have that out there, but all the agents ask, have you published a book before? And if so, how many did it sell in the first year? So I click no.
And you know what's funny is I had 2 books published by a traditional publisher in the 90s. And I can tell you the difference in the 90s when you said, oh, I've had a couple books published. People would go, oh my gosh, can I carry those bags for you? People always said that I should write a book. Let me tell you. And it was like this. You say it today and people go, ooh, do you have a YouTube channel too?
Yeah, right.
It's nothing. Right. Because my cousin, you know, has been self-published and my daughter self-published, because you only have to have 6 pages for Amazon to consider it a book.
Oh, really?
2,500 words. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, you know, I don't know. I think it's because I'm old that I have very little tolerance for the SOBs that Everett's taught. I just don't have patience. And I don't, you know, I just feel like I've been there, done that. So, you know, I was different 20 years ago and 30 years ago and 40 years ago. You know, I had a completely different take on it, but I've sort of, that's why it's fine to put stuff up on Medium, because I do it for myself. And if I reach some people, I'm happy and I'm done with it for the day. So.
I'd like to make a career. I would like to actually make a career of it, but I just don't know if I have what it takes, you know, but I would, that was my dream as a girl, to be that it would be my career, that writing would be my career. Turns out I'm better at teaching, I think, than at writing, but I still, like, it's still a goal. So I do, that's why I was like attending conferences and doing the workshop, trying to level up, constantly level up, you know?
You
So-
mean, you
Christine,
mean, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, real quick, Christine, we're doing 11/22/63 is the book club. Have you read that yet, Christine?
No, it's long, right? Didn't you say it was
It's
like,
super, super, super long, but the base of the character is a guy struggling. Am I a teacher or am I a writer?
oh, that's
And-
funny.
And so, and there was one, people going, look, you're writing, do it, but you were meant to teach. And it's a lot about his career and the kids and everything. That's a big part of the book.
That's funny. This is Stephen King, you said?
Yep. It's the most un-Stephen King that I've ever read.
I read that, but I don't remember about the teaching part at all. I
It was a
only
big part of it. Yeah, he was well, it opens, he's grading papers. He's the very beginning, he's grading papers. And then I'm not gonna, the hook of what happens, he goes and he gets, a teaching job and it's a lot about him teaching and what am I meant to do? And, I thought teachers are supposed to be frustrated writers, but he was actually a better teacher than he was a writer. And then the plot sort of takes him downstream.
I gotta ask you, is it gonna get better? Because I'm about 150
Really?
pages in, and it's so boring. I mean, it's like I'm sitting there going, I'm like, I read the first like 75 pages, and I'm like, wow, it's just really slow. It's very slow moving.
There's a lot to it. There's a lot to it.
And I'm finding so many like inconsistencies and little things. And then I'm like, I'm about 150 pages in, and it's like every night I try to read it, and it's like I can get through like 2 or 3 pages, and then
Where are you in the plot? What's happened?
Gone to Derry. He's
Okay,
gone.
so you're
okay, and so he's following the butcher around.
Okay.
I'm just trying to not
I
give
mean, I
spoilers
was
for
by
anybody
the
who hasn't
time
read it
I
yet.
got there, I was hooked.
I'm nowhere near hooked. I'm bored.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like reading this thing right before bed because it's putting me to sleep.
I don't think there's any hope for you.
And I said to my mom, I messaged my mom because she read it and she loves Stephen King. And I said, she's like, no, she's like, I liked the book. She's like, but it was very, very slow moving.
Oh, it's a big book. It's long.
It could have been a lot.
Really long.
Could have been a lot shorter. You could
You
have
could
told
have
the
made
story
it-
in a lot less.
I'm reading
You could have made 3 books out of it.
Well, if
Yeah,
you
it was.
cut down some of the boring description, he put 2 pages about a convenience store. Like, are you kidding? Why are we reading 2 pages about a convenience store you passed by? That's crazy. That has 0 relevance to the story. It's making me nuts. But I'm thinking because Everett, you listened to it rather than read it.
I'm telling you, I
bet
don't
it's
know
easier
what
to
it's
stay
written.
alert when you're like driving and have something else to
God
do.
And
forbid, you got it on and
and
you're
I've
falling
listened to it.
asleep.
Yeah, I'm not exaggerating. I've probably listened to the book on tape probably a dozen times.
Are you
And it's
serious?
probably one of the best audiobooks I've ever. This guy's incredible.
And
So
I'm
I don't
thinking
know if I
the
just
guys-
read it.
Yeah, I think the
Would've been-
reader's
would've been
better than the
different.
writing.
It would.
Wow.
It's very possible.
How many times did you listen to it?
At least a dozen. At least a dozen.
Wow, the whole thing?
From
Whole
beginning
thing.
to end.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, Tara, I'm with you. I mean, I read the whole thing and like I appreciated that it's Stephen King and it is kind of out of the realm of what he does, like the premise, but I thought it was entirely too long.
Yeah, so it's
I'm
very
keeping my fingers
possible
crossed.
it's the best book on tape I've ever listened to, and maybe not the best book I've ever read, because I've never read it. I've only listened to it. And
I'm
this
just hoping
guy
it'll
that
get
does it
better.
is phenomenal. I mean, he does kids' voices and female voices and old
But-
men, and
So,
I mean, and they're so different.
But that's the thing,
Well-
you're getting a movie or a radio show, whereas I'm getting this really dull description. Because maybe if somebody was reading this description with
Right.
a lively voice, it would be interesting. But
And
when
he's got all
there were
the
lots of lines
accents,
in the bin.
That's
Right.
everything.
in a
Yep.
book club though, like in a book club discussion, are you supposed to like bring quotes and stuff? Like we usually focus on, they'll always have a quote or two that I want to
Oh, there's
focus
tons
on.
of quotes. Yeah.
But if you haven't read it and you've only heard it, how do you know what to focus
Well, it's
on?
still a quote. I mean, time, time is obdurate. The past doesn't want to be changed.
These
One of
are
my
all
favorite
quotes?
things, absolutely. One of my favorite quotes in it is every time he throws in the New England, lexicon all the time. And if somebody doesn't want to shake your hand, they'll go, I'm all over grease. Never heard that. I just love that line. Instead of saying I've got grease on my hands, I'm all over grease. And I just love those. I love those little phrase bits.
The problem with it is that he's very inconsistent about the way he does it. And in fact, I have notes in the book saying like sometimes he'll write the dialect, like he'll write it the way they're saying it, and other times he'll write it correctly and then put next to it in italics the way they're saying it. And I'm just like, pick one way. It's like, I don't mind. I like the idea of the dialect, but either write the dialect or write it correctly and explain. Don't keep going back and forth with both. I don't know. I'm going to save reserve judgment though, because maybe it'll suddenly pick up and all.
I don't know if it hasn't grabbed you by now. I don't have a lot of
Oh
hope.
No, it's a long road ahead of you, Tara.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to get through it.
How long is it? How long is the book?
800. Look at this
1,200?
book. Andre, look at this
pages.
book.
1,200
What?
words.
War and
Peace.
No.
It's
huge.
my head. Okay. I have a big head and it's half the size of my head.
Oh my
I
I
God.
think the book on tape is 47 hours.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Why
And
did
you
you
did it
pick
12 times?
I'm on the road all the
849
time.
pages.
Oh my God, it's like
I think that's
Cavalier and
longer than the
Clay.
Bible.
It's like Anna Karenina.
I think it's worse than Anna Karenina.
Wow.
Wow. It's Tolstoy stuff there, man.
Yeah. I've read War and Peace 3 times and I liked it better than this so far.
The book
You
on
read
tape
War and
is
Peace
amazing.
3 times? Oh, that's impressive.
I
I haven't
read
read
it
it.
twice and listened to it once, Everett. I listened to books.
There you
too.
go.
And I listened to Anna Karenina too.
That's great. I love Anna Karenina.
Me too.
Yeah, love it.
See, we need to read some classics for our book club.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be nice. I would do that. Then I would
You-
come.
You
You
can
know
read
what I
some
read
Hemingway
recently
because
was,
you're a big Hemingway fan.
George Eliot, Middlemarch.
Oh gosh,
Oh, yeah.
that's a rough one. I love that book, but it's rough going.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, well, I
it's-
kind of went into it knowing, it was whatever, more than 100
Yeah.
years ago, but I kind of enjoyed it, just
I loved
what
it.
was. Yeah,
She writes a mean sentence.
it really
Sometimes
does.
so much you have to reread it like 3 or 4 times to get it. Like she
Yeah.
really can write. She really can write. I admire her skill so incredibly.
It's like Henry James, you read a Henry James
Yes.
book and his sentences are so labyrinthine, but you got to admire the craft behind it. It's just remarkable.
And Faulkner's like that too. I
Faulkner
find
too,
Faulkner so difficult, but I really just can appreciate him so much, even though, and I've taught him before too. I've taught Light in August when I taught AP Lit.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't taught AP Lit in a long time, but I loved teaching that book. I really did, even though it was so tough for the kids. I really enjoyed it. And As I Lay Dying, like he was a genius. Because
Really
like my
was.
book is actually set up like that, the novel that I'm getting published, where it's like the character name and then it's their chapter, or however long the chapter goes. And he did that in As I Lay Dying, so I took that from him.
What was the last one he did with the dog? The Traveling with the Dog? Travels with Charlie or Travels
That's
with
Steinbeck.
Yeah,
That's
Steinbeck. Yeah.
Okay.
hmm I love Steinbeck too. He is great. He's comprehensible. Like
Yeah.
Faulkner's, Faulkner, you're like, wait, where am I?
Right.
What's going on here right now? But yeah, Steinbeck he was amazing too. And Hemingway, I don't love Hemingway, but at least you know what's going on.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Hemingway, but he couldn't write women. Women were all these two-dimensional,
were
secondary
two-dimensional,
characters.
yeah.
He could never write women.
And Faulkner, I mean, he was kind of misogynistic in some ways, but some of his women characters are awesome,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
right? Some of them are just awesome women. They're just
I have
great.
to break down and read something.
Did you ever read Absalom?
I have not.
An incredible book. I think
Really?
that's one of my favorite. It's my top 10. Yeah.
Really? Maybe
It does
I'll
make
check into
you-
that.
It does make you work at it. The thing about Faulkner I like is it leaves an impression on you. Even though you're lost sometimes, like, whoa, he's so gorgeous. The gorgeous, beautiful sentences, his very lush description
Yeah.
of nature. I don't know. I just love Faulkner.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know one of his acolytes is what's his name? Cormac McCarthy,
Yeah.
who I have not read. And I know that he was hugely influenced by Faulkner,
Yeah.
but I've never read him. I've heard The Road is amazing. Some of my
No
friends have
Country
read
for
it.
Old Men.
No Country for Old Men. Yeah,
Yeah.
haven't read any of it.
Depressing. So depressing.
Is it? The movie was
Incredibly
great.
depressing.
Yeah, the
but-
movie was depressing.
Oh my God. Yeah, he is so depressing.
Yeah.
Faulkner is not as depressing as Cormac McCarthy.
Yeah, there's always a little touch of brightness in Faulkner, isn't there? Because he's
Yeah, there is.
funny.
Hope.
There's
Yeah,
humor. He actually uses humor.
he does. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we should each get a choice, pick a book for our book club. I like the classics book club idea. I think that's great, Sarah.
Maybe our February, because we're not doing the Stephen King until January because it was so long, and I really think I'm going to need that time because I had to read like 12 different. I'm reading like, you should see my nightstand. I have 6 books on it right now, and that's just.
I haven't even started it yet, so I don't know if I'm going to make it for January.
Maybe you need to listen to it like Everett. It'll go.
I'm telling you, that's the way to do it. It's amazing.
I should have gotten in. I could have listened to it like running or something. I'm not in the car a lot like you are, you know. Yeah, so
I don't know. For me, getting through it once was enough. Like, I don't know that I could do it. I don't know that I could do it again.
But I've never, you know what's funny is I've never spoken to anyone that listened to it that didn't absolutely love it.
It's
I have yet, and I've recommended it to dozens of, probably at least a dozen people, and everyone came back and said, you were absolutely right. It was incredible. But that's the audio version. And you're right, it is almost like a movie. You've got this talented human being that's doing accents and different ages and just articulating, and he's laughing when he's supposed to be laughing, and he's pulling back, and it's just acting it out. And that stuff probably just isn't being translated with the book part.
That's the thing. Like, I mean, the fact it makes me think that if they had to hire someone to go that elaborate with the reading, they knew the book
You
sucked.
could be right. Right?
You know? I mean, it doesn't really need that much, you know. Look at what is I can't think of the name of it, where they have the free audio books, so they're all classics and stuff. I can't even think of what it's called. But I've never had the only problem I've ever had with those is that occasionally people don't know how to pronounce certain words, and like
right.
And, but like if you have to hire like the cream of the crop to read your book, something's wrong, because it should hold your attention just by being read, you know.
Yeah, but I understand I understand what you're saying about the somebody reading it, because there's a lot of Russian accents and stuff
Russian
in there,
and New
which
England accents and Southern accents, and yeah,
that might make it more.
yeah.
I thought the premise was entertaining, but it was just way too long.
And even Harry, the janitor, he did Harry's voice, this very unique voice with Harry. It's just, it's like it talks like this. And it's just, you only think of Harry that way. It's an art form in itself. Very possible that it's the best audible book ever, and maybe an okay book.
We'll see. Maybe
no.
It's gonna surprise me. We'll see. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I mean, I want to like something that we read, you know. It feels like
you haven't liked any of them, Tara.
I know.
Neither has Everett.
I mean, but you have to remember, like, I'm coming at it from I have no choice. I'm always at it from the editor's point of view. So I'm always there finding problems. You know what I mean? It's really hard for me to and that's why I tend, like, in my downtime, I tend to read a lot of like what you'd probably consider trashy chick lit kind of stuff. You know, I'll read like a lot of Ellen Hildebrand and like Jodi Picoult and like things that are probably kind of what other people would say is, not literature. Because it's more like I'm not analyzing it. I'm reading it because it's enjoyable. It's a good story. It takes me less than a day to read, and then I move on. And it just it makes me relaxed and happy, and that's fine. But everything else that I read, it's like it feels like work to me, and I can't, and I'm constantly reaching for a pencil. I'm like, I shouldn't be making notes in a book that I'm enjoying, I shouldn't.
Right.
And but it's really hard for me. So that's why I tend to read a lot of very cheesy.
Yeah, but those, that's the thing. Like, I always thought that too, because I was going to get a PhD in lit. That's how I wound up from Florida to New Jersey. And there was always about those high-low books, right? The high culture, the low. But we look down on the wrong books, man. Those books sell for a reason. Like, I threw my back out. 2 weeks ago, I threw my back out. I sat down and I read 4 of the Traveling Pants books. They were great.
Really?
They were so fun. They were fun. They were just like cream of rice, And they still had some points to them. If they had nothing to them at all, I wouldn't have read them. So I think we look down on, Jodi Picoult is famous for a reason, Lauren Hildebrand too. So I think we look down on books like that a lot. Like, you may not have your editor's hat on when you're reading it, but there's heft to those books, I think.
Yeah, I think there's more to them than people give them credit for. And the thing is, I can't take off my editor's hat. The fact that I'm not marking them up says something to their value, I think. I mean, the fact that I'm not marking, it's very rare that I have to take out my pencil on one of these books. And at first I was like, oh, it's because I'm not looking at them, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's that they're actually well done,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe they're not deep or anything, but sometimes there's more content there than you expect there to be.
And
I don't know.
tend to be, I mean, when you write, you tend to be a snob. So you think anything that sold 2 million copies is garbage. And there's no, I mean, you're not going to allow yourself to enjoy it because you're so above that sort of thing.
It's funny.
All right, well, we're coming up on an hour, so we should probably call it an evening so everybody can go about their lives.
Some dinner.
Yeah.
I have to go light Hanukkah candles. So
Yeah, happy Hanukkah.
Oh, nice. Happy Hanukkah.
That's right. Yeah.
Nice. Have a good holiday, everyone.
thank you.
To the Adam
too.
Sandler Happy Hanukkah.
Oh, yeah. Right.
That's all right.
The next happy hour, I think it's January 14th, but I don't think I've created the Facebook event yet, so I'll let you know. But it was good to see you all. So, and Lori, it's good to see you.
When's the book club where you're discussing what is it, 11/20/63? What is it?
11/22/63.
Trying to find it. Hold on one sec.
I'm gonna go. Bye, everybody. Have a good.
Bye, Andrea.
Bye.
I'm
See
trying
y'all.
to find the page. I think it's January 7th, but let me confirm. January 7th. Come on, slow. Oh my God, Facebook is so slow.
Tara's recording.
January 7th at 7 p.m.
7 p.m. If we do Middlemarch, make it at 5.
Yeah, I think we should start. I think we should start it. I mean, I think at the next book club we should take a vote and see if we can maybe do it a little bit earlier, because really I'm wiped out by 7. And
Oh my God, me too. I'm cooked by then.
yeah, I mean I'm wiped out by 2, so this is a stretch for me. But by 7, it's like all over.
Yeah.
So yeah, if we could do it earlier, I'd be much happier.
Do you have these they're listed on Facebook, like where this?
Yeah, go to here. I'm gonna ping you.
All right, bye guys. I'm gonna go. Take care.
Bye, Christine.
All right,
Thank you
bye.
for coming.
Nice.
Lori, I'm gonna put the link in the chat.
Okay.
Crap. Oh no. Oh my God, it's ginormous. It's
Oh,
but that's the link to the event
okay.
on Facebook. So if you click that, it'll take you to the event. But if you just go to the Blydyn Square Facebook page, all our events should be there.
Okay.
Yeah, we have the book club, and then we have the next happy hour. I think it's the 14th of January.
Okay.
So
All right.
It's good to see you. Good to see you, Karen.
Good to see you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
See you soon.